A man can drown in the shallows of his own mind, circling the same 3 feet of water for years, certain that if he just thinks one more lap he will finally touch the bottom. He never will. The bottom was never in the water. I am speaking to the man whose mind will not stop. You know the loop, the decision you have turned over 400 times, the conversation you rehearse in 9 directions before it happens and replay in 9 more after. The relentless modeling of every outcome, every angle, everything that could go wrong. A mind that treats stillness as danger and certainty as a finish line it sprints toward and never reaches. And the world keeps handing you the same prescription. Calm down, quiet the mind, stop thinking so much, as if you had not tried, as if the thinking were a faucet you could simply turn off, instead of a man bailing a boat he does not know is taking on water from below. I am going to tell you why it never stops, and it is not what you have been told. You do not overthink because your mind is too strong. Your mind is strong. That part is true. You are an intelligent man and you have always known it. But intelligence is not the disease here. The loop is not a surplus of thinking. It is a substitution. You are using the analytical mind to do the work of a faculty you stopped trusting a long time ago. The deeper knowing, the intuition, the thing in you that does not reason its way to an answer but simply knows, that arrives whole, immediate, certain, and without showing its work. Every man has that faculty. You were born with a compass beneath the chatter, a direct line to what is true that does not require a single argument to validate it, and somewhere you stopped trusting it. Maybe you trusted it once and it seemed to fail you, and you swore never again. Maybe you were taught, by a parent, a teacher, a whole world, that only what can be proven, defended, and justified is real, and that the quiet inner yes was naive, soft, unserious. Maybe you were shamed for knowing things you could not explain. However it happened, you exiled the compass and crowned the calculator, and the calculator has been trying to run the kingdom ever since. Here is the cruelty of that arrangement. The analytical mind is a magnificent servant and a catastrophic king. Its entire function is to question, to model, to doubt, to test. That is its gift, and within its domain it is unmatched. But it cannot give you certainty, because certainty is not its job. Ask the questioning mind for peace, and it will hand you another question, because questioning is the only thing it knows how to do. You have put the one faculty whose nature is doubt in charge of producing your conviction, and then you wonder why conviction never comes. The loop is not a malfunction. It is the calculator doing exactly what calculators do, forever, because you keep asking it for the one thing it was never built to deliver. And watch how this wound turns, because it has 2 faces. One man spins inward, paralyzed, unable to decide, drowning in analysis, frozen at every fork because no amount of thinking ever feels like enough. The other man hardens outward. He builds a fortress of certainty out of pure reasoning, becomes rigid and superior, mistakes the elaborateness of his thinking for the truth of it, and looks down on those who simply know things as if they were children. The paralyzed man and the arrogant man are the same exile. Both have abandoned the compass. One is still desperately searching for it in the water. The other has decided the water is all there is and crowned himself its master. Neither is in contact with the deeper knowing, and the bitter comparison that leaks out of the second man, the envy of those who move with ease, the contempt for the intuitive that secretly masks a longing for it, that is the tell. No man resents a faculty he does not miss, so the work is not to think less. You cannot defeat overthinking with effort. Effort is more thinking, and you would only be sending the calculator to silence the calculator. And it is certainly not to distrust your mind, which is a real and good servant. The work is to take the crown off the calculator and put it back on the king, to rebuild your faith in the faculty beneath the chatter, the knowing that does not argue, to learn again, to recognize the quiet inner yes, and to act on it before the mind has finished demanding its proof, because the peace you have been trying to think your way into was never going to come from thinking. It comes from trust. The loop ends the moment you stop asking the questioning mind to be sure and start letting the deeper thing be sure for you. I wrote of this man in Awaken Your Shadow, the intuitive self, and the one who exiles his own knowing and crowns the anxious mind in its place. If you recognized your own loop tonight, that is where the road continues. You are not cursed with too much mind. You are a man who lost faith in the deepest thing he was given and has been trying ever since to reason his way to a certainty that was always meant to arrive another way. Trust the compass again, and the mind, finally relieved of a job it was never meant to hold, will at last fall quiet. But you cannot reason your way back into trusting the thing beneath reason. That is the calculator trying to certify the king, and it will loop forever. Here's the secret underneath everything on this channel. Every battle you've ever lost against yourself, the anger, the anxiety, the sabotage, you lost for one reason. You went in without the one presence that can end the war. This presence has been with you the whole time. It watched every collapse, every relapse, every 2 a.m. spiral, and it remained untouched. This presence is the reason some men become ungovernable while others stay stuck reading about it. It outranks intelligence, willpower, even faith, because it's the part of you the matrix cannot reach. This is why I created the Somatic Shadow Work Sleep Learning series. Each meditation in this series dives into a different dimension of your inner self. As you relax and listen, you'll feel the fears, insecurities, and limitations of your daily life begin to dissolve. With daily repetition, a sharper and more self-assured version of you will begin to emerge. This higher self has been within you all along, awaiting its activation. You'll find a link to this Somatic Shadow Work series below this video, or simply click the video that shows up in the final screen of this one. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel for more like it.